Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm here with Reese Taylor. She's just released a seriously amazing track called Over Under, and I'm super excited to talk to her about it. First off, Reese, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's sunny today for the first time in a couple days where I live, so that makes me
Nice.
really excited and happy.
Where are you at?
I'm in San Diego, based out of San Diego.
Oh, nice. I was born in San Diego, so
Nice. It's
that's
a good
pretty
place
cool.
to live.
Yeah, where in San Diego are you at?
I'm in Del Mar, like the Del Mar area.
Oh, sweet. Cool.
So
More
near
from
the
like inland Rancho Bernardo area,
Nice.
but still
Yeah.
pretty close. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, obviously, I'm really excited to be talking to you about this single. I kind of just want to jump right in here and dig into the lyrics, as they feel pretty heavy for the most part. I'd love a background on them if you wouldn't mind explaining.
Yeah, so I wrote this song in kind of the midst of the lockdown, and I think I had never felt distance in any relationship as much as I did during the pandemic. We were all so, isolated from everybody.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make a song that expressed how distance feels. And of course, I added my own personal lyrics and personal touches to my experience. But I wanted to make a song that truly expressed how distance feels in any relationship, whether that's a friendship, like a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or even with your family. Being in such close quarters, sometimes you feel distance even when you're together. And so this song just kind of came from that place of wanting to make a song that truly encapsulated what distance feels like. And I think I tried to do that in the best way that I could so my listeners can feel that as well and relate it to their personal experiences.
Awesome. Well, I think that you encapsulated it fantastic because it came out great. I
Thank
was
you.
going to say, for the most part, it's a pretty stripped back, minimalistic song. It's pretty much just you and a guitar for the most part.
Yes.
And the guitar playing was great. Is that you playing?
That isn't. I do play guitar, and I actually have a 15 guitar collection, and I love collecting
Damn.
guitars. Yeah. My dad started collecting guitars, and I just got really into it. I think they're beautiful and super cool. And especially, I love electric guitar, and I think
Hmm.
in a song like this, kind of making it lyric focused and vocally focused is really important because it can show that will be the shining star of the song rather than the production, which I think production makes the song or breaks the song. But in this one, I kind of want it to be a little bit more stripped. So it wasn't an acoustic version, but it wasn't, a full on production thing where my vocals and my lyrics just got lost in the song. But no, that's not me playing. That's my producer. He's an incredibly talented guitar player. And we already had a track kind of done, and the guitar part was done from someone else. And
Hmm.
he kind of went over it and redid some places and added some ad libs and stuff and made it super cool. So yeah, he's amazing,
Awesome.
super talented.
Yeah, you guys had a great little collaboration then. I have to go back though, and I have to ask, out of the 15 guitars that you own, there has to be a favorite, right?
So I have one that is signed by Tom Petty, which is pretty cool because I grew up listening to.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's super cool, and it's probably not the best guitar to play. It's an electric guitar. It's probably not
Sure.
the most quality guitar ever,
I'd be
but
scared to play it.
yeah, I'm scared to play it. But
Yeah.
he's such an icon, and
Hmm.
I grew up listening to him. My mom loves him so much, and I love his music. So having that is pretty special to me.
That's really cool. I also wanted to talk a bit about the production now that you mentioned it. The song itself is super clean for the most part, but towards the end it does this sort of little like swirly fade out thing, and it's really cool. I don't even know what to call it really.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
I wanted to
cool.
say though, like, was it really like you guys in a studio making this? I know that you kind of had like the bones of the track, but how did it all come about really?
So it was all done over Zoom. I recorded all the vocals in my bedroom, sitting on my bed at home.
Awesome.
And so that's something I'm really proud of because I've never really done that before. I've always had my vocals mixed and recorded in a studio.
Sure.
And I think through this pandemic, a lot of young artists and just artists in general that are independent, and all artists actually, have realized that you can just do things in the comfort of your own home, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, at the end there, we were just kind of playing around with the production, and I started doing these like vocal effects on Logic Pro, and I was just like doing some things, and I sent it over to my producer. He's like, "That's so cool," and I was just playing around, and he was like, "What did you do there at the end?" And I was like, "I don't know," and we just did some like cool echoey vocals, and just kind of was like back to my dark pop eerie roots. But even though it's kind of still a different route for me as an artist, we wanted
Mhm.
to kind of tie some of that into the end of the song.
It turned out great. It was super cool.
Thank you.
Sometimes, like playing around with those things, you never know what you're gonna find. Um, so, considering that this is the first single release of the year for you, the immediate hope is that there's more to come, right?
For sure. I think this song for me is um, a stepping point to where my music is going.
Mhm.
And I think in the past, I started releasing music when I was young just to kind of test the waters. And just, I loved, singing, and my parents were super supportive and just pushed me to do it. So I started
Yeah,
doing that. But I think as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that, and I resonate with music that is just honest and vulnerable and truthful.
yeah.
And that's the kind of music I'm going to be putting out from now on, because I think there's a change in the music industry with more people releasing that type of music, and people resonate with that and they want that. So that's what I'm going to be doing, just staying true to me and telling a story through my song, I think is the most important. So I have a lot of songs under my belt, and this is the first of many to come this year. I'm really excited about all the content I'm putting out and all the music I'm going to put out, because I think it's like the most me I've ever been as an artist.
Awesome. That actually is the perfect kind of segue to my next question here is not necessarily on this single, but I suppose sort of in the grand scheme of everything that you're making, what are you trying to accomplish overall? What's the end goal here?
I think for me, I just want people to relate and resonate with my stories. And I think even with music that's coming out later this year, it really is just telling a story about my life. And it's almost like, if you have like home videos and they show what happened when you were younger, that's kind of what I want. It's almost like a time capsule. And every song to me means something super personal and vulnerable, especially the songs I'll be putting out sooner than later, hopefully. And so I just want people to resonate with my music, and hopefully can laugh to it, can cry to it, can dance to it, however they take it. And that's what I love about music. And it just can be so healing. And I think during these times, we've realized how music is so healing and powerful. And so I just want to continue to do that for people. If it's one person listening or hundreds of thousands of people of listening, that's just like the end goal for me.
Awesome. Do you work on songs one at a time or in batches, or do you sort of work on things as you're feeling them and going through those life experiences?
Yeah, I think for me, I can't really write when I'm stressed out or in the midst of like
Yeah,
a bad relationship or something. I
of
can't just sit
course.
down and be like, okay, I'm gonna get all my feelings out. That's not
Write
really
a
how it
song right now. Oh, yeah, that's not
exactly. It just comes in the most random
sure.
of times. And, when I'm putting in a co-writing session or something like that, of course, we're kind of,
Yeah.
we have to spill everything. But I usually write all my songs on my own. And so it just kind of comes as life comes. And sometimes I'm feeling it. And later I'll look back and be like, oh my gosh, that song expressed just how I was feeling in that moment, even though I couldn't say it. And that's what I want my songs to be. They're truly, just how I can express my feelings without saying them, or even if I don't know how to say them. And so it just, there's not really a recipe to it. It kind of just comes as it comes.
Sure.
So yeah.
Nice. Are you trying to model your sound after some of your inspirations, or are you actively trying to go towards something that's more original but sort of alludes to what you like?
Yeah, I think that's actually a very introspective question. I think that I really do like the singer-songwriter vibe more than ever. And I think with my music as it is evolved, you can see what I was listening to then.
Yeah.
And I think whatever I'm listening to at the moment definitely impacts my music, because I'll write like that person, especially since I'm a songwriter. They have similar songwriting styles that I do, and I take on that. And I'm like a sponge. I just soak in all this different music. So I kind of say I am what I listen to. So I think it will change, but I think I'm trying to find my own unique sound. As a younger artist, I used to be like, I want to copy that sound exactly. I want to sound
Right.
exactly like this person. And I think so many people do that, and it just creates, stuff that's already out there. People don't want to hear something that has already been made. They want to hear something different and original. And so I think trying to stay true to making a unique sound and something different is really going to stand out, because those are the artists, in the end, that make it out, the ones that are unique and stand out and stand alone. Like they're not, compared to all these different people because they sound like 100 different people.
Exactly. Exactly. Were there any, I suppose, key artists or albums that you would listen to in your life that directly inspired you to take this path as a musician?
I think, like I said earlier, I grew up listening to 80s music
Okay.
and like Fleetwood Mac, Tom Petty, Pat Benatar, like everyone like that. And those, they were just so influential and their songwriting was just so amazing. I was just so inspired by that. I think that definitely shaped me to the artist I am today and the songwriter that I am today. And they kind of just the effortless type of vibe in their music was just
Hmm.
so prevalent. It made me want to do the same. And I could feel as like even just being like a young kid, I felt their vulnerability and their presence, even in songs that are, super upbeat. The lyrics were just so deep and meaningful. And I used to just sit and I'd be like, Mom, look up the lyrics so I can just analyze them. And I would just look at them and be like, that's so cool that you can tell a story through music, and that's
Right.
so cool that people can relate to that, and you can make it all these different sounds and everything like that. But I think listening to those people in 80s music, and particularly when I was younger, definitely um, shaped the artist I am today and helped me get into music.
Got it. All right, so tell me this. What do you enjoy the most about being an artist and a creative as a whole?
I think, like I said earlier, it's just a way to express how I'm feeling when I don't know how to say it.
Hmm.
Um, Being a teenager, it's really frustrating. Sometimes you have, 20 million feelings and you don't know how to express them and say them. So it's really nice sometimes just to get them out. And later I'll like reflect and it'll just bring me such ease. I'm like, okay, like that is, a closed book. I wrote this song about this person or about this situation, and now it's a closed book and I can move on, and it's like closure of situations and things that have happened in my life that I can't get closure from otherwise. So it's very, very therapeutic in a way.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Okay, so hypothetically speaking, and there are no wrong answers here, you're a young artist, you're continuing to put out single after single. Is there a 5 year plan for yourself as an artist? What do you see happening in the next 5 years with you and your music?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I hopefully this year I'm putting out an EP, which would be awesome. I haven't done that since I was like 14, so that would be amazing to put out an EP this year. And then hopefully an album in the next 5 years. I really want to go to college and study music and
Hmm.
continue that and meet more creatives. My favorite thing about this whole process and journey is getting in the room with different creatives and different artists. That has been so amazing for me. And when I was younger, I used to just be like, I want to do this all on my own. But it's so amazing collaborating with people and just I just want to, I'm like a sponge. Like I said earlier, I love to just soak up everything I can and learn so much. And so if I get anything at all out of this journey and experience, it's just learning from people, and just, it's amazing to see so many creatives out there. They're just so introspective and so talented. So just meeting those people, I'm like forever grateful for all the people I've encountered and met with and have wanted to work with me. So I think just continuing to get in the room with as many creatives as I can and putting out music that is just honest and raw. And as long as I can keep telling stories through my music and people keep listening, that's just how I want to continue to do it for the next 5 years, I guess.
That's a solid plan. I'd say, yeah, first step is definitely going to college, figuring that out. Do you have your eyes set on any specific music school?
My dad went to USC, so I'd really like their arts program there is absolutely amazing. So I'd love to be part of that. Same with UCLA. I
Totally.
know the arts program is amazing. They're tied to so many huge record labels, so it would be amazing to kind of be LA based and stay in Southern California because where I grew up. I don't know if I could go 5 days without. The last 5 days have been cloudy, and I just can't take it. So
I
if
feel
I
you.
can't take it, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go anywhere else. So I would love to stay LA based and go to those schools. There's also Vanderbilt in Tennessee, and that's an amazing art
Hmm.
school as well. So yeah, just I'm really trying to figure it out. But I think USC and UCLA, if I get in, are really great contenders.
I agree. I'm in LA right now, and it seems like a lot of the people that I talk to are either trying to go there or went there. And yeah, a lot of people to learn from in that area.
For sure.
So you're in California, I'm in California, and things are getting better here for the most part.
Yes.
Is there any chance that we see any amount of local show or local performance from you in, maybe by the end of the year?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm coming up to LA in the next couple weeks, and I have some people up there that want to get me into local gigs and stuff, so that would be amazing
Sweet.
to do that. I know in San Diego it's kind of slow, and to perform places you have to be like 18 because there's usually a bar.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to find places, but we have local restaurants I can perform at and stuff. But hopefully, when I come up to LA soon, that I can perform at, anywhere I can. I'd love to start doing that again.
Totally. It seems like things are getting booked from like June, July and on, so pretty quick at this point, but I'm sure you'll make it
Yep,
work. I think the hardest part is going to be not enough venues for so many people trying to
for
get back
sure.
out there and perform,
For
so
sure.
a lot of competition for sure.
Yes.
Um, so in terms of genre, how would you sort of describe the music that you make as a whole?
I would say from here on out and maybe in the past, I feel like it's kind of like a dark pop, like a mix of Lord, Gracie Abrams,
Yeah,
and that's just kind of the route I'm going. Same with my lyricism. I think it's kind of that dark pop type of vibe and singer-songwriter type of vibe, if that's a category.
it is.
But I think
It
it is
totally is.
because, yeah, because people are starting to do that more prevalently, and it's
Hmm.
very interesting to see how that's becoming super popular again,
Right.
rather than music that's just like hardcore pop and lyrics don't mean anything. So I'm really happy for that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
would kind of say like a dark pop singer-songwriter vibe.
Totally. Honestly, I like that instead of like the hyper pop, just repeat line after line because
Yeah.
you can have a compelling, instrumentation and the production can be fun, but at the same time, you can actually have lyrics that mean something instead of just stringing words together
Sure.
that sound repetitive or catchy. So I like what you're doing in the sense of like actually telling a story and having someone listen in, but it also sounds good. So I say keep that up for sure. So once you do get out there and once you do get any amount of dates lined up to play, let's say you had to pick one song of yours to perform, which would it be?
Released or unreleased?
Um, any.
I feel like, well, I'll just say over under because I'm excited. I've never
Okay.
sung that live before, and
Sure.
we actually made a really cool acoustic version to it on piano,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully that will come out soon. I'd
Oh,
love for that to
cool.
come out, but it just turned out super cool. And the cool thing about this song is acoustically covered, it just can be transformed into a completely different song. You can hear it be like, that's the same song, and it's like, yeah, it's the same song. But there's a lot of room for cool melodies and harmonies that we've kind of composed with the acoustic version that we've made. So I would
Totally.
love to perform that one acoustically. I think it'd be a super beautiful acoustic performance.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it for sure. Is that going to be officially released or just like a thing that you'll
Maybe
put
just
out?
like an acoustic video or something.
Okay. Okay.
Takes a while in the system to, release something,
Very
but
true.
yeah, I would love to just put it out there because it's very different from the track, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still super cool. You're like, wow, that's like a whole different song.
Damn. All right. Cool. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I only have a few more questions for you at this point, but I want to know. There's been so many incredible releases from artists across the world so far this year. I mean, and even last. What have you been listening to in your free time?
That's a great question. I put this person on to everyone I talk to. I think she's amazing. Her name is Gracie Abrams, and I don't know
Okay.
if you've heard of her,
I
but she
have. Yeah. Yeah. She's pretty great.
okay. She's amazing. I love her. I think she's like the new Taylor Swift, but in kind of a more like dark pop type of way.
Sure.
And I love her songwriting style. Absolutely obsessed with it. And just her honesty and vulnerability. And she's just a different artist. Like she's just completely herself. She's never faking it. And I really appreciate that. And I think her fans appreciate that too. And I definitely take note of that. And yeah, she definitely inspires me as a musician and a songwriter. I'm obsessed with her. I love her so much.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check more of her out for sure. Um, okay, so also at this point, we are about a third of the way through this year, which is crazy to even say at
Crazy.
this point.
Yeah.
But what are some goals, musical or not, that you've set for yourself for the rest of this year?
I think first being I really want to release a project like an EP.
Hmm.
That has been something I've been working towards because I've been sitting on a lot of songs that I've written over the lockdown and even recently, and I would just love to release, an EP and just kind of have it be like a portfolio of what I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I'm really working towards. And just working towards being super honest and vulnerable in my music. I think it's really hard. And I also think there's so many artists that aren't songwriters out there that are just, using other people's songs. So I think being a songwriter is not the most prevalent thing at the moment, and a singer, it's either or. So really trying to stay, true to that. And I think also that's something that's not very normalized is a lot of songwriters think they have to be in a bad place to write a good song or be in a bad relationship to write a good song.
True.
And so I think, it's something that really isn't talked about that much, but that's just been a goal of mine because sometimes I have to feel a certain way to write a certain type of song that people relate to, but I have to realize that's not me and that's not myself. And I just want to be honest through my music as much as I can. So those are
Yeah.
probably like my main goals for this year.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think you'd want to like actively feel like you're having a bad life at the moment just to put
For
out a
sure.
beautiful piece of art. Because if
For
you're
sure.
looking for a bad time, then are you having a good time ever? That just doesn't
Exactly.
really make sense. But
Exactly.
no, I think that is a solid goal to kind of realize and be more introspective within yourself so that you can write and it doesn't need really a rhyme or reason. You can just do it. So
For sure.
I respect that for sure. All right. So, my last question for you here is for the person that is going to discover your music for the first time, what is a message that you would like to pass off to the first time listener?
I love that question. Well, first off, thank you for listening to my music for the first time. I just hope that people take it as it is and they can relate it to their own life. I do that with music I listen to all the time. I, really soak it in the first time, and then there's just something that is really relatable about it to me, and maybe it's different for them. But even in certain songs that have a lyric that doesn't even resonate with me, sometimes just the deepness of it really can be healing. So I hope that people take everything like that they take the lyrics into consideration and really listen to them and realize that there's a lot of heart behind them and honesty, and that hopefully it can relate to their life in some aspect and that they can feel something from it, whether that's relatability or a healing sense from it. That's just my hope.
Awesome. I think that's a fantastic answer and a perfect ending for this. Reese, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak.
Of
I really
course, thank
appreciate it.
you.
For everyone else out there, right now we're recording this before the actual song has come out, but
Yes.
by the time this does come out, Over Under will be out. So stream it, listen to it, and definitely check out the rest of her music as well.
Awesome. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
You're very welcome. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you at a show one day.
Thank you. Yes.
Totally. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
See ya.